Premier League today, London Derby, Arsenal versus West Ham, holds harvest in the Hammer Sports Stadium. Arsenal is back on form. Arsenal is back on winning ways, and which team could stop Arsenal again? The Gunners are poised to make everything possible to win the Premier League title this season. Arteta is buzzing, Arsenal fans are buzzing, and hey, with me is Ima. And if you just join us and you are new, remember to subscribe and be part of this amazing community. What's up, guys? It's Ashili Sports, and you know how we do it. We bring you nothing but the best. Today, Ima, we have said it, and we have said it time and time. You were confident that Arsenal were going to win the game against West Ham United in the London Stadium, and all of us, our prediction actually go through. I said both teams to score because it's a derby and it might be very, very difficult. I even give it over 1.5 for sure. Ima, as Arsenal fan, how excited are you with this massive win, 5-2?
Yeah, looking at Arsenal's performance in the Champions League midweek, scoring Sporting CP 5-1, I'm not surprised with this scoreline. We know West Ham to be in also some crisis this season. You know, they are not playing to their best. And I think, I don't know whether the coach is still at post. Julen Lopetegui, I don't know of for sure, but I think they will sack him eventually because his performance is not that good. And Arsenal going to the London Stadium to win 5-2 against West Ham United isn't a surprise. I was expecting them to win, but scoring 5-2 against West Ham is not that bad. Yeah, we just say kudos to the boys and Mikel Arteta for getting this 3 points for Arsenal.
Getting these 3 points for Arsenal. The likes of Trossard, the likes of Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, and hey, the man himself, Martin Odegaard, were all in the score sheet for Arsenal. And we all talked about Odegaard coming back into the midfield, and he actually vindicated himself and Arteta coming into the team, and everything has changed for Arteta and Arsenal. How good is Martin Odegaard with the midfield distribution he's doing?
Yeah, I think we also saw the troubles Arsenal went through when Martin Odegaard was absent in the team, and you know he's like the engine of the midfield, and he coming into the team is a great addition to Mikel Arteta's side. I think we know Martin Odegaard to be someone who holds the ball in the midfield and distributes the passes to the attackers. He's a link between the midfield and the attack, like a typical number 10. So I think, yeah, he's brought this revival into the team. We saw the team, how the team were performing in his absence, and we've seen how they are performing since he came back to the lineup. And I think he's a great addition to the Arsenal setup. For me, I think he's the difference in the team, like Rodri of Manchester City. So if he goes on the bench, it affects the whole play of the Arsenal team. And I think Mikel Arteta getting him back, will be of a good help to the Arsenal team going forward.
It will be a good help for Arsenal team moving forward. Talking about Martin Odegaard, the man at the moment, Bukayo Saka, is the one who is taking all the glory today with 10 assists so far in the Premier League. He has moved into 2 digits of assists in the Premier League, and he has not been speaking about so much this season. Do you think this assist that he's given, what kind of impact does it make on his performance moving forward in this Arsenal project?
Yeah, I think we will need this, this performance from Bukayo Saka. It's better for him to be scoring and assisting for the team, because at a point, if your attackers are not scoring and you're not assisting, it affects, your results. You can't win games. Either you are playing a draw or you are losing the game. So if they pick at the right time and they are giving you the goals and the assists, I think it's a step in the right direction. For me, I've never questioned the ability of Bukayo Saka. He's a top player for the Arsenal team, and I'd like to see more of him. He's been giving us this performance back to back, season in and season out, and I think tonight's performance wasn't an exception. And for me, I didn't expect 2 goals from him, but I think he got 2 goals today and an assist. Yeah, that's what I saw, and I think it's a good performance for Mikel Arteta's side.
Yeah, he scored 1 goal. Yeah, and an assist. First penalty, he allowed Martin Odegaard to take it. So it was two
Oh, okay.
penalties. Let's talk about Mikel Arteta false number 9, Kai Havertz. We've been talking about him so much, and it looks like this season is his season, and he has been scoring a lot of goals. Today, he also added a great goal to his tally. We know about his movement, we know how he moves, and we know how he can be clinical sometimes. And today is one of it. Do you think he should still be maintained as the full number 9 because Gabriel Jesus was introduced later part of the game?
We have to get a striker for this team. I don't think Havertz is the way to go. We have to get a typical number 9 who will give us the goals. For me, I think Havertz not that guy who will just, let us compete with the likes of Manchester City and, the Liverpool. If you look at Liverpool, they have at least strikers like Darwin Nunes or Diego Jota who will also come from the bench. Look at Manchester City. At least you get a certain Erling Brand Haaland. But when you look at us now, we don't have a typical centre forward, and it's affecting the team. Though the goals are coming in from the left wing and the right wing, and I think when we get a striker, he will add more goals for us to compete very well in the other competitions like the Champions League and the domestic competitions for the EPL and the FA Cup and I think the EFL too. I think we will need a striker. Maybe in January we have to get a striker.
So Gabriel Magalhaes, the defender, a massive defender, kudos to his goal that opened West Ham up. All that glory should be given to the who is responsible for that kind of setup. For sure, the set pieces coach. I think today he has done a massive job and he has been doing it. And you look at these days, the way Arsenal is scoring from set pieces has been absolutely marvelous. Don't you think credit should be given to him as the way Arsenal is utilizing those set pieces? Because last match against Sporting CP, Gabriel was the one who actually get the opener again for Arsenal. How important is the coach to Arsenal?
Yeah, during the game against Sporting CP, you got the opener for Arsenal. I think, it's a very good thing that they are also scoring from set pieces. Gabriel Magalhaes' performance this season too hasn't been bad. We normally hear of William Saliba, but I think people are not talking much about Gabriel Magalhaes, and I think it's time we also sing praises to his name because he's doing a very good job at the heart of defense for us now. Adding goals to his game will also make him a very great player. Teams like the Real Madrid and the Barcelonas, they will need such defenders that will add goals. We saw the likes of Sergio Ramos, other players who will also come in and, their head balls into the net and other stuff. I think it's a very good thing. If William Saliba is not doing it, and Gabriel has also started, giving us the goals. The good thing for the Arsenal team is the goal is coming from all angles. That is why you also sit down and think that you not need a striker. But the main reason for bringing a striker is if the goals are not coming, he is a professional. In putting the ball at the back of the net. So that's why we need a striker. But for now, because the goals are coming for all angles, we will think that the team is okay. But they will really need a striker. So I'll just say yeah, kudos to the Arsenal team, the Arsenal coaches for working on the boys and also using set pieces as a way to get a result.
So before we move to West Ham, I think the last thing I want to ask about Arsenal is about keeping clean sheet. This team is poor at scoring goals. We know the defensive phase of Arsenal, which is very, very fantastic with the likes of Gabriel Magalhaes and also Ben White and Saliba. And sometimes we also saw the left back. Sometimes he switched to Calafiore and Zinchenko. Zinchenko is also there in the. You
Yeah,
have
Julen
options.
Timber.
Yes, Timber. He's also very, very, very good. And we know the defensive phase has been absolutely massive during the beginning of the season and also last season. But these days, it looks like they are also, so as they are winning games, they are also conceding a lot of goals. What is really happening? What can Arteta do to prevent Arsenal from actually conceding goals?
For the conceding of goals, I think it has to do with the defensive problem. We saw them, beginning of the season, they were not conceding that much that we were all praising them. But I think whether it's fatigue or because they've been playing so many matches, the William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes pair has been, a constant pair for about 2 seasons now. At a point, fatigue was setting. So maybe Arteta has to, change things a bit and introduce certain players to or complement the two. Else, the goals. For me, the good thing is if you score 5 and the team will score 4 for you to get the results, that's fine. But they scoring you more and you not, getting the goals to is another problem. So I think the good thing is Arsenal are scoring. So even if they concede, you not feel that much because those today they scored 5 and they conceded 2. where it's a fair result. They could have made it 5-0, but due to one or two things, they got 2 goals back. West Ham got 2 goals back. So I think it has to be a defensive problem. So Mikel Arteta has to talk to his boys at the back, for them to strengthen the defense a bit. David Raya is a very good goalkeeper and he has no problem, but with a centre back pair and maybe on the left side of defense too is a bit of a problem. To be on the what's the name? Ben White to be on the
The
right
right
side
side.
of defense, but for the left side, it has always been rotating. Sometimes Timber will play. Sometimes you also push Jacob Cavio there. Sometimes you can see Calafiori too playing at the left back. So they don't have a permanent player who is like constant, always in the lineup. Sometimes it varies. So I think Mikel Arteta has to also look at that and find a proper left back between those three players or among those three players. They know who can play the position very well. Get his back four spots on so that they can also, make the defense very strong.
They can also make the defense very strong. What is really wrong with West Ham United? Because we all know West Ham United, they didn't start the season very well. Started winning some games few days back, but then it still boils back to the same story. What do you think Lopetegui will do to change the situation of West Ham?
I don't think you can change the situation of West Ham. I think he's not fit for the job. And the best thing for them to do is, find a new coach. I don't see the Lopetegui thing. I'm looking at the game they played on Monday against Newcastle United. I thought they were going to, put a performance up against Arsenal, tonight. But Arsenal scored about 3 goals in the first half or so. Because I just watched it.
I think 4-2 in the first half, yeah. Yeah, it was first 2, 4-2 in the first half, I think so.
Okay, so 4-2 in the first half. Just imagine playing at home and conceding 4 goals at the first half. It's not that good. So I think they have to find a new coach. For me, I thought maybe he would have able to turn things around, but looking at the way things are going, if they don't take care, they might even end up in the relegation zone, and which is bad for a team like West Ham. So it's better they sack him now and find a coach than to let him stay and mess things up to the maximum that they can't do anything about. So for now, I think maybe they have to start going into the market and finding a new coach and turning things around for West because they have very good players, but it seems the coach doesn't know how to put them together on the field of play, and the tactics and everything is not that right. So they have to go in for a new coach.
Yeah, statics and everything is not going right. We could see Antonio not actually getting the right supply that he wants to go. The way he used to disturb cannot do that. Maybe the formation is not suiting him. Someone like Mohamed Kudus, who had red card and has sat down a lot of games, hasn't been his best this season. And a lot of them talk about Paqueta. He too has not been his best. So Czech is on and off this season. Not to talk of Bowen. He's also not of his best this season. So it means that maybe the formation he's using doesn't suit those players. Let's see how it's gonna happen. But Arsenal is absolutely incredible today. Get the 3 valuable points, move to the second spot of the Premier League table. Whether they can maintain it is up to tomorrow's games. City will be playing against Liverpool. Chelsea will be playing against Aston Villa. Both of them are just strong teams to actually face. So let's see what is going to happen. And talking about Arteta and the kind of players he possessed today, we are our own darling boy Partey wasn't in the lineup, but you see Jorginho stepping up today and was absolutely massive. So other Premier Leagues that have actually gone through today, we have Leicester. Brentford scoring 4 goals to 1 against Leicester in the Brentford Community Sports Stadium. We also have Crystal Palace drawing 1-1 against Newcastle United. It was something that we talked about today, that Newcastle United double chance to them, and yet they drew that game. Nottingham Forest also won their game against Ipswich Town. You talked about Nottingham Forest winning, and I was giving them double chance or maybe over 1.5 in that game because Ipswich Town also, but then Nottingham Forest won that game. And also Wolves Bournemouth. We talked about it. You said Bournemouth, straight win to Bournemouth. You were on your, you were just superb on that game. And I told you that, yes, Wolves have also, these few days have been absolutely massive. And I see a lot of goals coming into this game, both of them capable of scoring. And now it was 4-2 to Bournemouth. And hey, that is it for sure. And if you just join us and you are new, remember to hit the subscription button, like and share the video, and let's see your opinions. What do you think about the Premier League Saturday? Ciao.